Good morning. Welcome to yoga. I'm filming this morning from Home Athletic Club, where I, before the COVID, taught here. If you are a member, I'm glad that you're able to join me today. And if you're not a member, if you would consider donating to Home Athletic, as they are a personally owned business, unlike some of the big box clubs. It would be highly appreciated. If you don't want to donate, if you could like this, if you enjoy this practice, that will help. All right. So this is going to be a real, I'm going to be doing a lot of stretching and opening up through the hips in this practice. Please be aware of your own limitations, and I will try to offer as many modifications as possible. But if anything hurts or you feel a sharp, stinging, zinging pain, please come out of it. But if it just feels intense, I encourage you to stay with intensity, but not pain. Because when we stay with that intensity in our practice, it allows us to tolerate the intensity of life situations. All right, I'm going to start out, first of all, just sitting up nice and tall and straight. I'm actually pulling back against my knees, getting some opening in the chest here. And I'm going to reach behind me and open up even more. Just kind of moving around back and forth. When I stretch, I like to move all around to get kind of all angles of those muscles. Just feels good to me. All right, sitting up tall, bring your hands to heart center. This is called Anjali Mudra. Inhale up, exhale open. Inhale all the way up again. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale up. Exhale, open. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, open. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And I'm going to bow and create an intention for my practice here. And my intention today is going to be to move and connect with breath. You can create your own intention or share the same as me. All right, releasing that intention up. And exhale. I'm going to twist over to the right. Still sitting up nice and tall. And over to the left. And back to center. I'm going to come into a forward fold from here. So uncrossing the legs. You can keep your legs slightly bent here if you like. And you can transition if that differently if that transition didn't feel good. I like to sway in my first forward fold. And I might move this camera back just a little bit to see if I can get more of my mat in here. So I just like to kind of finger paint on the ground and move around in my first forward fold. All right, hands on my shins. I'm going to just gently nod my head yes. Turn from side to side. And now bend the knees. Let's slowly inhale, circle sweep up. And exhale, hands to heart center. I'm going to wiggle my toes here and rock back and forth, coming up on the toes, and then lifting those toes up. kind of as if my toes were, or my feet were little boats, and I'm just kind of rocking them from bow to stern. And now settling into all four corners, relaxing the toes. I'm going to circle my right knee and just kind of moving around here. And other direction. And let's switch feet now. Circle the left leg. Or if you're mirroring me, you'll be doing the right leg here. And I hear a lot of crispity, crackety crunch here, and that's just fine. It's just my body waking up, saying good morning. All right, let's release here, and we're gonna come into our sun salutation. So toes are relaxed, weight is evenly spaced in the feet. Inhale up, exhale, bow down, leading with the heart. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Your range of motion will probably be different from mine. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, I'm gonna come into a wide leg forward fold here. So my feet are parallel and nice and wide here. More than hips width distance here, about double hips width distance. I'm gonna come down into a forward fold and bring my hands down interlaced. And I'm quite flexible after practicing yoga for 20 years, so you may be up here or somewhere in the middle. Okay, I'm gonna walk over towards the left leg here. Back through center and over to my right foot. And please don't be discouraged if you're not as flexible as me. I'm pretty flexible at this point. All right, coming back to center. And I'm gonna gently come up, bring my heels in, toes out, and make my way into a horse stance. And I'm just gonna kind of sway here and open up through the hips. This is really good for the feet and the knees. Getting some strength in the core and thighs and in the booty. The best thing you can do for your body is move. The more you move, the longer you're gonna put off a lot of those age-related aches and pains. You may not be able to completely avoid them. I haven't been able to completely avoid them. But moving around makes a huge difference for me in my mobility throughout the day. Right now I'm coming deeper from side to side. Bending to one side and the other. And my knees are pointed the exact same direction as my toes. here. So heels are in, toes are out. Going from side to side here. And I'm just gonna hold this here. Go deeper. Even bring my hands down and come all the way down, lifting that heel up. If you can't quite come this far, you can just come into a lunge. This is called Skandasana. And I'm gonna balance here in this low lunge. As you can see, I'm a little unsteady. Balance is always a challenge for me, even though I continually practice it. And oddly enough, it's a challenge in my life as well. All right, now I'm gonna come through center into a forward fold here. And then come up and back into my horse stance with these nice wide goalpost arms. Okay, bringing my hands back to heart center. I'm gonna go from side to side again. And I'm gonna come over to this side, and you can stop here if this is as far as you wanna go. Since I don't have any knee issues yet, I'm gonna come all the way down here, lifting this foot up, the heel up. And now I'm gonna come into a balance. This may not be available to you, so you can stay up higher. Oops, having a hard time balancing today. And release those hands down. I'm gonna come back to center. Feet are parallel here in a wide forward fold. Okay, come all the way up, circle sweeping up and open, and I'm gonna reach my arms behind me and open a little deeper through the chest. And now heels in, toes out. I'm gonna come back into the horse stance. Okay, so heels are in, toes are out, knees are pointing the direction of the feet. I'm gonna try to get nice and low here so that I'm really working a lot of muscles at once. Just gonna hold this and breathe. And I'm gonna go from side to side just a little bit here. And then deeper, lunging from side to side. And I'm gonna come all the way over to the left, coming into my low, low lunge. And a balance. And release, moving through center, coming into a forward fold again. And coming all the way up, hands to heart center, heels in, toes out, and back into my horse stance. And now just moving a little bit. And going deeper now. Lunges are so great for building a good, strong foundation in your practice and in your life. All right, I'm gonna come over to the right side. I'm gonna make my way down into that Skandasana low lunge and balance. And I'm going to come through center, and I'm going to toe heel my feet in and make my way into a garland pose. So coming all the way down with those hips, I'm going to balance here. If you prefer, you can come into this pose instead if this garland pose isn't available to you. I'm going to release the hands, bring the feet parallel, and come into a forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale the arms up, and I'm going to release them behind me, opening up through the chest again. Now I'm going to come into a deeper back bend. I'll show this from the side. Bringing your hands to like where your kidneys are, low back, fingertips are up, and you're going to try to bring those elbows together. And this may be as far as you come, or you might end up looking up and arching the back just a little bit. This is kind of a modified standing camel. And release. Arms big, give yourself a hug, chin to chest. And open up big, other side. And release. Let's come back into our flow. So stepping out nice and wide, toes out, heels in. I'm going to come into a forward fold here. Walking over to the left side. And now walking over to the right. Coming through center. And now really bring those heels in, toes out, and we're going to open up into a horse stance and bring the hands to heart center. And holding this here, deep breath, strengthening that core, strengthening that lower body. And let's start to move. Just going from side to side and then coming deeper. And you have your foot on the gas pedal here, so you can go as low as you would like. You can stay up reasonably high. I'm going to come back to my low lunge here. Oops. Need a little help today. Okay, now through center. And I'm going to come all the way over to the other side. All right, coming back through center. And all the way back up, heels in, toes out, and back to that horse stance. Okay, from here, I'm gonna transition into an extended side angle towards the right side of the mat. So I'm gonna bring the back foot down at an angle and bring this foot pointing towards the end of my mat. And then taking my right arm, I'm gonna extend it, and the other arm goes up by my ear. You can come deeper if you like here. I just like the way it feels when I'm a little bit higher, even though I can get to the ground. All right, let's come into triangle. So, sliding down here. And now I'm gonna bend the knee and come into a low lunge here towards the right side of my mat. And now hop this back foot up. I'm gonna straighten this front foot and then bend this knee and straighten. Bend and straighten. And now bring the back foot down. I'm now in pyramid pose here. And I'm going to transition from here back into that low lunge, lifting the back heel, lowering the back knee, and tucking the back toe. So as you can see, like I promised, let me, so you can see my face here, I'll scooch back. Really opening up through the hips today. And having stiff hips is definitely something that happens with age. So we want to move around as much as we can while we can to keep that mobility strong while we're older. In cultures where people move around a lot, like in Okinawa, you'll have 90-year-olds climbing trees because they eat a good diet and they exercise. A lot of the problems of aging are not inevitable. We can slow them through exercise, especially yoga. All right, I'm gonna come back into that low lunge and make my way up and then back into my horse stance. And then we'll do the other side. You know, this is a kind of different transition here. All right, so from here, I'm gonna point this left toe towards the left side of my mat, straighten this back leg, bring it at an angle, left arm to left knee, right arm up and over by the ear, reaching up. So this is like one long backslash here. We're not up here, this would be a different pose. I'm gonna see if I can come a little deeper here, widening my stance. All right, let's come up and I'm gonna straighten and come into a triangle pose. I'm going to bring this arm down and transition to a low lunge. Trying to stay in the camera here. I'm going to drop that back knee and tuck that back toe. Opening up here. And let's come into our triangle pose. So lifting up, I'm going to bring this back foot forward a little bit. And then transition. You can be up higher if you need to be. Now I'm going to lift this heel of the back foot. Front foot's gonna stay straight, and I'm gonna just kind of bend and straighten here with the back leg. All right, and let's transition, stretching a little bit more, bringing that knee back down, coming into a kneeling lunge. And now we're gonna bring the hips back, straightening that front foot, lifting the front toes. And coming back into that low lunge, lift the back leg, and I'm going to transition into Skandasana from here. And over to the other side. Back to center. Heels in, toes out, and back to that horse stance, hands to heart center. And let's just move a little bit here again. And coming deeper. Come a little wider so I don't get those knees far past the ankle. Coming from side to side. And now I'm going to transition into that extended side angle again. So right toe towards the right side of the mat, back heel towards the back side of the mat, and this is, toes are pointing at an angle forward. I'm going to just stretch out first, and now I'm going to bend this leg, bring the right arm to the right thigh, left arm to the ear. And let's try triangle pose. Stretch out and then forward. You can look up, that always gives me a little bit of vertigo, so I'll look at you instead. All right, let's come back up, and we're gonna make our way to a low lunge here. And drop the back knee and tuck the back toe, opening up through the hips here. All right, curl the back toe under, lift the back knee up, and we're gonna hop forward, coming into your version of triangle pose. Mine brings my hands all the way down, yours may not. And transitioning back to that kneeling lunge, back toe down. And we're gonna bring those hips back, lifting the front foot. Again, stretching through the hamstrings. And I'm gonna come all the way over and around to Skandasana. Hands to heart center. We're gonna do this one more time on the other side, and then we'll move into some different things. All right, release, and come back to center, forward fold. And hands to heart center, heels in, toes out. Let's move from side to side. And if you tend to get stiff hips and knees, I really recommend doing things like this, even though it might be uncomfortable, so that you maintain your range of mobility. Because a lot of times things get uncomfortable and then we stop doing them, and that we end up painting ourselves into a corner with our mobility. You don't want to feel pain, but pushing your body to discomfort is really good for it. Your body was made for that. All right, I'm going to stay on this side and transition into that extended side angle. So bringing the left toes towards the left side of the mat, back foot at an angle, and stretch up and over. And I'm lifting through here, I'm not collapsing, okay? You want to be nice and lifted with your body. Even though your arm is here, you're not putting weight on it. See, I can release it. Okay, let's transition to triangle pose. So straightening that front leg and reaching forward and then down. Fingertips are pointed up. Your gaze can be up. If you prefer, that's more traditional. I just get a little dizzy when I do that. All right, bend that front knee. Let's transition to a lunge here. Drop the back knee, opening up. Oops, I'll scooch back so you can see my face. Opening up through the hips here. And whenever you're on your knees, you're always welcome to put something underneath them to cushion them if you have issues and you don't want to feel the floor. It's perfectly fine. Okay, now I'm going to transition to a pyramid pose, hopping this back foot up, foot's at an angle, front foot is pointed towards the side of the mat, and I'm just going to release here. And making my way down. Drop that back knee again, coming into a low lunge. And I am going to transition back. And now I'm going to transition to that low lunge and make my way all the way around to Skandasana. And release. And I'm going to come into that forward fold and transition back down, toe heeling the feet in, coming back into that garland pose or goddess pose. Hands at heart center. Really connecting here. Use that breath. We tend to get caught up in our thoughts and we forget to really experience and be in our bodies. All right, I'm going to lower my hips down and make my way into bound ankle stretch. So opening up the feet. I'm going to come forward, using my elbows to press open a little bit deeper. And now I'm going to come into a deeper hip opener. So So you can cross one leg over the other. In fact, let's start out here anyway, and I'm going to pull so that I'm stretching through the outside of the hip, arm towards me, or using my arm to pull this hip towards me. And then at the same time, kind of pushing forward, creating resistance. And now I'm going to lean forward a little bit here. And uncross the legs here. Let's get the other side. Bringing one foot towards your heel, or one heel towards your rear, and then cross the other leg over. And I'm just twisting and kind of resisting at the same time, pushing out through this leg as I'm pulling. Really getting into the hip here. And again, don't do anything that's painful, but if it's just intense, see if you can stay with it and use your breath. This is a good lesson for learning how to stay with discomfort in life if it's not painful. All right, now I'm going to lean forward with those legs doubled up. And you may not be able to do this. All right, coming up, since my feet are already ready, I'm going to come into cow face pose on this side. So I'm going to take my left arm up and reach it around, and then reach with the other arm. And release, and now I'm going to do the other side. And you can have your legs just crossed like this if they don't quite come into the full cow face. Reach up and around, and this is the ear here, and these are the lips of the cow, or the legs. And release and cross the legs. And I am going to come into a bridge pose. We'll do a little bit of bun work like we did last week. Let me see if I can get this a little further back so you can see my body. Okay, I think you can see me now. So releasing the head and neck. If you want to have a cushion underneath your neck or roll a towel or your mat, you can do that. Gently lift up your hips here. And I'm gonna open, lower, and close. This really forces my buns to work a little bit harder. Open, lower, lift. All right, bring those knees together, and we're just gonna lower and lift here. How you doing? high. I'm gonna lift onto those heels, coming onto the balls of my feet, really lifting up high here. If this causes your calves to cramp up, then just lower down. And lowering heels, we're just gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna march here, lifting one leg up and then the other leg up. Lower down. Let's extend one leg out and hug the other knee to the chest. Just releasing here. And now we can move that foot around. And bringing the other leg up, I'm going to straighten this leg and pull the knee towards my nose. Let's get the other side. Pulling the knee towards my nose. And now bend and extend, hugging that knee towards the chest. And now opening up a little bit through the hip. And let's hug both knees to the chest here. I'm gonna rock a little bit from side to side. All right, I'm gonna come into happy baby pose from here. If this pose isn't available to you, you can just come into a supine bound ankle stretch, just opening your knees like a book. If happy baby is available to you and you can keep your hips down, you're gonna grab onto first the outsides of the thighs. And if you can keep your hips down, you can grab all the way for the feet. But if the hips are coming way up, come back down and grab onto the thighs. So when you were a baby, you did this for fun. You stuck when you were about 8 months old, you probably stuck your toes in your mouth. So you were naturally very flexible at that age. Babies are super flexible. And then as we gain strength and stability, a lot of times we get a little tighter. In yoga, we're always trying to balance gaining more strength with also having that flexibility for mobility. Okay, I'm gonna open up to a wide leg straddle here. You don't have to do this. Oops, maybe I won't either. I'm feeling a little tight, so I'm just gonna open up here. I'm not gonna grab for the toes. And release. And I'm just gonna kind of move my knees back and forth, just kind of windshield wipering here. All right, let's make our way to Shavasana. So extend those legs out and open the palms. Coming into a gentle rest. And find a part of the breath that you want to focus on. And see if you can just pay attention to that. Maybe it's where the air tickles in through the nostril. Maybe it's the rise and fall of the chest. Or the rise and fall of the belly. And just focus on that aspect of breath. Let your thoughts drift off to the background and just stay with the breath as you relax. Notice if your mind has drifted, and without judgment, just gently bring it back to the breath. Every time you do this without judgment, it's like a mental push-up, strengthening your focus and concentration. Found with the world being as crazy and ever-changing as it is, that I find a lot of comfort in returning back to that breath to find a sanctuary, a place where I can quietly go no matter where I am. Just take a moment to just be. It's kind of like a reboot for a computer. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes. Open your eyes. Stretch up along with your fingertips and stretch out through the heels. Inhale, and on your exhale, hug your knees to your chest again. Rock a little bit. And you can roll over to whichever side. I'm going to roll towards you. We're just going to stay in a fetal position for a few breaths. If you're looking for a gym to call home, I highly recommend coming to Tahoma Athletic. I've been very impressed with the dedication that the family who owns this gym has for taking care of their employees during COVID and for keeping this a wonderful, safe community space. So if you've never been here and you're close, come on over and give us a look. Into a seated position. Gonna finish our practice. Whew. Alright, sitting in crisscross applesauce, you can pull your buns out from underneath you. And just sitting up tall, take your index finger, your pointer finger to your thumb. And we're gonna bring hands down to reconnect with the earth. Deep breaths here. Now bring your hands to heart center and your thumbs to forehead center. Namaste. Thank you for joining me here today. I hope to see you next week, same time, same place. Stay safe out there.